And I was so frustrated. I started bawling my eyes out.
Bawling my eyes out. 想知道中文是什么意思吗？那就快来收听本集的精彩内容吧。
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the NG 英文 show. My name is John Drummond, or Yang Haoen.
Hi, 大家好，欢迎回到 NG 英文，我是 Stephanie。今天的来宾是一位综合格斗选手，他是台湾 AZ Fight Club 的选手，并且要在今天跟大家分享他是如何锻炼身体跟思维。接下来就让我们来欢迎 Nathascha。
Today I am joined by a mixed martial artist, Miss Nathascha Chen. She is fighting out of AZ Fight Club here in Taiwan and is going to share all about the MMA journey, discipline, all kinds of cool ways to train our bodies and our minds, really, and so much more. So everyone, please welcome Nathascha.
Hello, hello.
What's up, gangsta?
Hi, hello, John.
You know, it's so cool. So everyone listening here, Nathascha and I kind of technically worked together. Is that right?
Yeah.
We kind of worked together, and you just got to see our other co-worker, Juan, in Mexico City. You just came back.
Yeah, I did.
And Roberto and
Nicola.
You saw like our whole crew.
Yeah, but that was like 10 years ago.
Was it 10 years ago? Hopefully not 10 years ago. It was probably like 6 years ago. Was it 10 years ago? No way.
I met Juan like 10 years ago.
Yeah, you met Juan 10 years ago, but we were all working together, I think maybe 7 years ago.
Maybe something like this.
Okay, 7 years. I'll give it 7. Awesome. So yeah, you got to do Mexico and you did San Francisco. Mm-hmm. You got to actually train, I believe, out of our friend Kai Wu's trainer, Steven's gym. Is that right?
Omni Movement in San Francisco.
Omni Movement, that's right. Yeah, Kai, if you guys all remember Kai Wu, that's his striking trainer.
Yeah.
Potentially, right? Super cool. Well, Miss Nathascha, do you mind giving our audience here on NG England a little self-introduction? Who is the woman, the myth, the legend?
All right. Hi, guys. My name is Nathascha. I'm 28 years old, and I've been living in Taiwan for 6 years now.
6 years? What? Yeah, so what? 10 years ago, you met Juan, but you didn't live here?
No, I didn't live here.
Oh,
I would only come here for summers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So when you were working together, it must have been then 6 years ago.
No, I wasn't living here yet because one summer I was kind of broke, student life, you know. I was like, Juan, I need a job to pay for my, expenses in Taiwan, and that's
how we all came together.
Yeah,
huh? Okay, basically. I didn't know that origin story. Super cool. So yeah, so you are a mixed martial artist fighting mostly out of Taiwan. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow. So can you take us through a little bit of this? Like, what is this like fighting for a woman in this cage fighting world?
So I started way earlier. Like I started when I was still living in Germany. So as background info, I was born in Taiwan, but I grew up in Germany, and I stayed there until after uni graduation. And in uni, I kind of stumbled into Muay Thai completely by chance. I was just looking for something to keep me fit, and actually I wanted to lose weight back then because I was modeling and I was trying to find something to like keep skinny. And my uni had a lot of different opportunities for you to like take classes, and I've always wanted to do martial arts. I just never was allowed to because my mom was like, you have to be a good girl, do ballet, right? That's what I did for 10 years, by the way.
Super good for balance probably though, a little bit maybe.
Yeah, it gives you a good foundation and a good posture usually. And
I gotta work on that.
Yeah, we always have to work on that. And so Muay Thai just kind of fit into my class schedule. I decided
that's cool. So that's technically a class?
Yeah, so
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
shout out Germany.
Yeah. So you basically pay €5, which is what, 150 NT, and you can join all the sports classes for free.
Wow, so it's like through a uni gym type of thing?
Yeah, so it's the teachers are hired by the uni, get paid by the uni, and you can just go to class. We had
Super
like
cool.
Probably 100 different classes, like spread all over the campus. So that was very cool. So yeah, anyway, I started doing it, and it was very, very intimidating. There's not that many women. In Germany, there's just a lot of big, bulky, scary men.
Yes.
We had like people who went to jail before. You know, like as scary as it gets, like big, you know, tribal tattoos, like pumped up in steroids and like, ex-jail.
All natural.
And that was so scary. Like you can't imagine. I walked in and I looked at everyone and I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then I was like, okay, so who's the coach? I saw one girl and I approached her and I was like, who's the coach? She was like, oh, that one. And there's also a big, tall, scary guy looked at me like, okay, so like, what do you want? I was like, can I join class? Sure. That's all he said. And I did one class. I really liked it. And then I just kept going with it. And honestly, I did not fight until after moving to Taiwan because I just never felt the need to or wanting to fight. Like you don't have to if you do martial arts, right? Only if you like really like to.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, you're very tall. You're striking, right? So you're not walking in there like a little 100 cm, you know, chick. You're probably like what, 175?
170, yes.
Yeah, there you go. So you got some power too.
Not if in Germany everyone's like
true. Everyone's like 190.
Yeah, and above.
Yeah, most of my German friends, you're right, are like probably 185 plus.
Yeah.
来宾今年28岁，并且在台湾居住了6年。那来宾其实是在台湾出生的，但后来搬到了德国，并且在那边读大学。那他会进入综合格斗的原因是因为他偶然的接触到了泰拳。那因为他当时是一位模特，所以他接触这项运动只是想要让自己的体态更好，更减肥。那其实来宾一直都想要接触武术，但他的母亲认为女生就应该学芭蕾，所以他真的学了10年的芭蕾。但好处就是让他有蛮好的基础、平衡跟姿态 posture。那因为当时泰拳课的时间刚好跟他的课表符合，所以他就去报名了。那基本上就是付150块就能报名将近100多堂课。那老师都是他们大学聘请的。那他刚开始上课的时候其实蛮紧张的，因为其实泰拳课的女生本来就不多，但大部分都是高大又壮的男生，甚至有一些是坐过牢的，然后可能全身都是图腾刺青 tribal tattoos， 反正就是看起来比较可怕的人。那可是他上完第1堂课之后他就很喜欢，所以就一直去。但他一直没有参加比赛，直到他搬来台湾。我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
Of course, you join it to kind of just train, stay fit for modeling and just be healthy. But when did that maybe transition from, hey, this is just kind of fun hobby life to I want to push myself into maybe competition and becoming a fighter?
I think the first time I really realized that this is not just a fun exercise to keep fit with is the first time I ever sparred. I felt like puking afterwards.
Good word right there, everyone. Sparring. Yeah, it's like it's when you're really kind of almost fully fighting, right? Like people are trying to punch a little bit, kick, but you're not 100%, right?
You're playfully sparring, and usually it's more about technique than trying to hurt each other. It's more like, okay, we'll figure out how the exercises actually work like in actuality.
In a real combat kind of setting. Okay, cool. So you're almost puking because of sparring.
Yes, I sat there and I was like, oh my God, I can't. I have to like take a break. And that's when I realized, okay, maybe this is, I've never felt like this before in ballet.
Quite different there.
So that's when I realized, okay, maybe this is something else, right? And I think when I came to Taiwan, I was going through, it was difficult, even though, yes, I'm half Taiwanese, yes, I speak the language, I was still difficult transitioning into living in a completely new space, having to figure out every single thing in your life, and also feeling kind of lonely, right? You leave all your good friends, your family, and I think for me, it was a way of rekindle that flame in myself for life itself. And I decided, you know, what better way to sort of get focused, get back into feeling something again, get back into feeling alive and enjoying like every single moment than fighting.
Wow, it's such an interesting mindset right there. Like that's what put you back into feeling alive, really. That primal instinct. I'm like, oh yeah, when I want to feel grateful and connected, I'm like, yeah, let me go walk in at the beach with my dogs. And you're like, let me fight somebody to the death.
Yeah, basically.
I love it.
Because like the whole process of like preparing for the fight and training for the fight, is so emotional and so physically and mentally draining, but it's also like one of the toughest and greatest things I've ever done in my life. I did not know that I can push myself this hard. Like sometimes I feel like an anime character, you know, where they like prepare for like the big end boss fight, and I think it makes you learn a lot about yourself as well. You learn to deal with disappointment, sadness, anger, all of these emotions that we don't like to talk about.
Right, we want to suppress them.
And we don't want to deal with. Be like, I don't want to be sad. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be disappointed or frustrated. We always want to be happy, right? But that's not how it works. That's not how life works. And that's not how we work. And I think you learn to stop thinking of anger and sadness as a negative emotion, but just as an emotion.
Wow, that's beautifully said right there, Nathascha.
来宾在第一次练习对打的时候，觉得自己快吐了。那在他之前跳芭蕾舞的时候都没有体验过这种感觉。那因为来宾刚搬回来台湾的时候，其实蛮煎熬的，毕竟要离开自己的舒适圈，来到一个陌生的环境，所以为了找回一点自我，他觉得格斗是最好的方式。那来宾在格斗的时候会重新认识自己，也同时学会处理像是难过跟愤怒的情绪。那他学会不要把这些情绪归类成负面情绪，而是单纯的一种情绪。那我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
You didn't set out when you became a fighter to kind of compete as a fighter. You weren't setting out to really understand all those things about yourself. You were just trying to reconnect to maybe a new community, maybe make some new friends, really focus on something. And in turn, you got this wisdom just dumped on you. Is that right?
So sparring usually in general, like for everyone who's just doing it, you know, as a sport, is not a big deal. Don't be scared of it, right? It's really a simple exercise. But for when you actually want to compete, your sparring becomes a lot harder, meaning it gets tougher, rougher, more power, more speed. You might injure yourself, but that's really, you know, for someone who wants to compete. For everyone else, really, it's not that big of a deal. Just I don't want to scare anyone, but you know. So the first time I did actually very hard sparring, I cried because I was, not because I was hurt or I was feeling pain, because I was so frustrated that I wasn't able to be better, right? And I was so frustrated, I started bawling my eyes out. And then after that, became even more interesting. Like after I cried, I became angry. And then my coach was like, let it out. Like, I don't want you to suppress your anger. Use it, channel it, right? Use it for fighting. And I really was able to, first time in my life, connect with something that I never thought I had. Like a really aggression and the want to hurt somebody. Even though that sounds really bad, right?
Guys, we're very close over here.
And also, honestly, it's a very empowering feeling because I never get to really connect to that side of me, to that sort of aggressive forward side. And I think if you wanted to bring it into day-to-day life, it's really like setting boundaries, stepping up for yourself, speaking up when you think something is not okay. And so you become more assertive and more dominant as a person. And I think for women especially, I think that's a very important lesson to learn.
That was so beautifully said there. And I'm thinking, really, you're getting the full spectrum of emotions of life and knowing how to kind of tap into all different emotions, not suppress any of it, and be fully Nathascha. And so thinking about maybe the future of your fighting career, do you want to keep fighting in Taiwan? Do you want to maybe go international? What's the plan with this?
Well, I think it depends on where life takes me. I think fighting is a part of my life, yes. And I will probably, depending on, you know, how my body handles it, I will keep on fighting. But I think it depends. It really depends.
Yeah. Well, I wish you continued success. It's really, really cool to see not only how accomplished you are now at fighting, legitimately fighting, but how you've also been able to articulate that and share what that's really doing to you in your mind. Because people know on NG英文, I just love talking about kind of the mindset of life and all these different things. And I feel you could be a big inspiration to a lot of people with how you're talking about all of this, really. So congratulations on all of that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
来宾想要强调一下，其实一般来说，格斗练习对打是很轻松的，但当然就是为了比赛的话，就会比较粗鲁一点。那来宾回想起他第一次比赛练习对打时，爆哭了 ，bawled her eyes out， 不是因为他受伤，而是因为他非常受挫，而且他哭完之后，他居然开始感到愤怒了。那从那次之后，他也才真正理解什么叫愤怒的情绪。那至于来宾会不会一直参加格斗比赛，他认为只要他身体还能承受的话，就会一直比下去。我们继续听接下来的专访吧。
Do you mind, though, if we switch gears a little bit to talk about kind of your story with Germany, your story with Taiwan, your story with English, German, and Chinese?
Of course.
And then maybe how it's all kind of tied still into MMA. So maybe let's start. You were born in Taiwan, correct?
Yes.
But then moved to Germany?
So I was born in Taipei, actually. My mom's Taiwanese, my dad's German. And we moved to Germany when I was 3.
Okay.
And I think one of the main reasons was that my parents wanted me to have a Western education. And so I grew up in Germany. I went to school in Germany and to university as well. But I think being someone from multicultural heritage is very hard to feel at home sometimes because I'm German, but also not German enough. And
You're Taiwanese, but then not Taiwanese enough. Right?
Yes, exactly. So after uni, I was like, I need a new place. I need to sort of reconnect with the other half of my heritage because yes, I kind of grew up with it, but did I really, right? And so after uni, I made a decision to move to Taiwan. Originally only for 1 to 2 years, but then I got stuck here for 6 years, as we all do.
As it seems to happen for all of us.
And here I was really able to sort of understand the other part of my culture, like Taiwanese culture. My Chinese got a lot better, right? And I've also learned to appreciate my German side more in a way, like understand myself a lot more, understand the European side of myself, which is very interesting because I needed to leave Germany to actually appreciate it and to actually understand that side of myself more. So yeah, I learned to appreciate both of my sides and to be like, you know what, I'm just a citizen of the world. You know?
It's beautiful. It's like an analogy to your emotions.
Yeah.
You know, you got your German side, you got your Taiwanese side, and it's all completely you now.
Yeah.
Like your anger and your kindness is also you. It's really cool. Yeah, and thinking about that too, you know, just I feel like I know America is, it gets a lot of bad raps, but I've learned to appreciate America for being gone for so long and how much opportunity is still there for people. And I think that's for the whole world is my opinion on that now. There's good and bad everywhere you go.
I mean, honestly, my last trip was my first time in the States.
What do you feel?
I had a wonderful time.
Yay!
So many wonderful people. Of course, you get the one or other crazy person, but you know, they're everywhere.
It builds character.
They're everywhere. But honestly, like, I had the most wonderful time. I had the most gracious hosts, and like, I have nothing bad to say so far.
Yeah, it's easy right now, I think, to hate on America, but I just like to remind people, being American, there's still good parts, I promise. But that being said, thinking about your language journey, though, because you now speak fluently Mandarin Chinese, you speak maybe a little Taiwanese, potentially?
I can understand when somebody talks bad things about me.
Yeah, so you got some Mandarin, you got Taiwanese, you got German, and you got English. So maybe take us through that learning process. What maybe helped you with those languages? What didn't? What's been the cultural with all that?
I mean, I always call myself trilingual, but with a Y. Like trilingual.
Did you catch that? T-R-Y, guys, to try.
Yeah, because yes, I do speak a lot of languages, but also it's very hard for me sometimes. Like growing up in Germany, I remember in German class, so we have German class where you have to write essays and stuff, and my teacher was always like, your German is weird. It's not wrong, but it's also kind of weird. And that goes for my Chinese as well, and that goes for my English as well, because I didn't grow up with a mono language, so I don't have 100% control over that specific language, and so it becomes a bit odd in a way. But it also, I think it also gives me a more flexible way of thinking, because I heard that language and thinking, is very close.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
And growing up, like I had so much like trouble. I remember my mom had to like hire people to teach me after school, so my German would get better. I would do a lot of reading. I think my English came mostly from reading as well.
I was going to say, I remember we shot, so we've done some acting together. I forgot as well. And I remember when we were on set together, you were always reading your books. And I loved that about you. Instead of pulling out your phone, you pull out your book.
Oh, yeah. I think reading has been a major thing in my life. So I didn't grow up...
Because you read in English, right?
I do. You know why?
No, please tell us.
Because as a child, I was obsessed with Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yes. And I had read most of the books in German, and then I think there was 2 or 3 books missing, and they would be released in English first, right? And then you have to wait for the German to be released, and I couldn't wait for the German to be released. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna try to read it in English, which is actually not that easy, but
yeah, that's very challenging. There's some crazy words in there.
Yeah.
A lot of like mystical names and creatures and places. Wow. So you just said, I'm going for it.
I'm going for
it. You shishikanned it. You tried.
Yes. So in school, obviously, we had language class. I had French as well. So I have a basic maybe in French, but I haven't used it in a very long time.
I've lost count at this point.
And I think for my Chinese, it only got a lot better after moving to Taiwan and working for a Taiwanese company.
Yeah, working for a Taiwanese company. And then I was thinking maybe your training partners might be Taiwanese.
Yes.
Maybe some of your coaches are Taiwanese, right? So are you training and fighting a lot in Mandarin and English potentially?
I think so. It's like because a lot of my training partners are local Taiwanese. They might not speak English or might not understand English very well. So my coach, even though he is, Canadian, he speaks English and Chinese. He usually tries to say it in both. And I'm sometimes just like, I don't understand it in either language, but I'm trying.
That's when the sixth language of the body comes in.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'll figure it out somehow. But yeah, so I think the environment, working in Chinese speaking environment, being forced to write emails and reports in Chinese and doing things like this, I think that really helped.
Yeah.
来宾是在台北出生的，他的母亲是台湾人，父亲是德国人。那来宾3岁的时候搬到了德国，主要是因为他的父母希望他在西方的教育下成长。来宾认为来自多国文化家庭的人其实很难找到家的感觉，像他是一半台湾人，但又不完全是台湾人的感觉，所以他毕业之后就决定搬来台湾。那他本来的计划是搬来住个1-2年，但没想到他后来决定留下来了。那他在这边终于了解到了台湾文化，也更了解自己。来宾开玩笑说自己会3国语言 trilingual， 但是是英文的 try T-R-Y， 也就是尝试的意思。那来宾分享因为多国语言的关系，所以他有时候说话的文法有点怪，但同时也让他的思想比较灵活 flexible。那来宾也说他的母亲曾经请过老师在课后帮他补德文，那英文则是透过大量的阅读学习。来宾也说因为在学校有语文课，所以他也会一些基本的法文。那他的中文是来到台湾工作之后才变得比较好。那他目前的教练虽然是加拿大人，但是他们都是用英文跟中文沟通。那至于他的同学或是练习对象，因为大多是台湾人的关系，所以主要还是用中文为主。我们继续来听接下来的专访吧。
Well, Nathascha, you're a rock star. It's really cool to see your mindset for fighting and really for life and language and all these things, and your heritage. And a question I'd love to end the show with here on NG Ingwen is if you could go back and talk to a younger Nathascha, maybe in that period where you were kind of figuring out who you were, who you are, would there be any advice you give yourself about fighting, emotions, language, anything?
Oh, actually very simple. Like, just don't worry that much.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Mama lie, take it easy.
Yeah, basically.
That's so great. Is there any way to say that maybe in German?
Oh yeah, there is. So I'm from the south. There's a local saying in the dialect. It means "Schau mal mal, dann sehen wir schon."
Sound cool.
If you say it properly in German, it would be "Schauen wir mal, dann sehen wir schon," and it basically translates into "Let's look and then we'll see."
Let's look and then we'll see. I love that.
那来宾会给年轻自己的建议就是不用担心，一切都会没事的。那来宾也分享德国南部有一个说法，就是我们看看再说吧。那就谢谢今天的来宾 Nathascha。
Awesome, Nathascha. Well, where can people follow along with your life? Maybe where can they see any fights upcoming or just see you on social media?
So basically, I mostly use Instagram, so just follow me under the Princess Nat. And that's it. And also feel free to DM me if you have any questions, if you want to know about anything. Like, I'm happy to respond.
Thank you, Miss Nathascha. We'll talk to you next
John.
time.
Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the NG English show. Please follow along with Nathascha or myself, John Drummond 89 or Yang Haoen, wherever you can find me. All right, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. Much love. Peace. All right. Well, that is our NG English show for today. We hope everyone enjoyed listening to that. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now Spotify. You can search NG Ingwen, or you can search on IG, NG English ICRT. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday morning from 6:30 to 7 and Wednesday night from 9 to 9:30. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.